there will be a positive impact on your district?
With so many needs facing our county, especially District 1, I don't think that fund is a good investment for our residents. I believe that money should be diverted to other programs that are directly helping the resident, from transportation to public safety. We have the prison that the deputies is complaining, and they even filed a lawsuit against the prison management because it is unsafe. The very good example is just recently we had 3 prisoners escape without us knowing for tens of hours. I think we should not focus on building more or improving the buildings, but focus on what services we should provide and how to provide that better for our residents.
The average age of our buildings in the Civic Center is 47 years old. That's the average age. And because of the age of the building and the changes in the needs that we have, right now we are underutilizing our assets. By that I mean we have the average space per employee at nearly 300 square feet per employee, per office. The reason we had that in the past is, remember, we worked with paper files. So everybody had to have boxes and boxes full of files so that we can do our work. Those days are gone. We now only need probably about 150 square foot per employee. Because of that inefficiency, we end up leasing over 700,000 square feet of space in the Civic Center alone each year. So therefore, there is a cost to doing nothing. The idea that we can just not spend money on renovating our facilities is a misperception, because there are costs to upkeeping the building and all of the inefficiency due to the age of the buildings.
Thank you, Andrew. We're going to take another question from the audience, and we're going to allow 1 minute for this. I'm going to start with you, Andrew, on this one. What is your position on the OC Sheriff's 287G agreement with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which allows OC Sheriffs to act as federal immigration officers?
I think when it comes to law enforcement, that is for the sheriff to do. She is a constitutionally elected officer, and so therefore there's only so much that the Board of Supervisors has control over. We have budgetary oversight into the Sheriff Department. We do not have the power to dictate policy for the sheriffs, and so for that reason, it's really not within the province of the Board of Supervisors.
Okay, Steve, would you like to answer that?
Well, the Board of Supervisors and our sheriff have a very cozy relationship. Did you know that our sheriff killed a man in Los Angeles and was sued and lost, and that would have made her qualified to be a sheriff in Orange County? And now she gets her own lawyer for $120,000 a year. Isn't that wonderful too? Well, the Board of Supervisors should do exactly what they say, and that's supervise. They control the purse strings and the money. You don't have secret agreements with the sheriff and then just throw it out on the public like that. There's all kinds of ways of influencing each other, but the number one way is through money, okay? And so it shouldn't be political and it shouldn't be economic. It should be what's the right thing to do. And if the right thing to do is to say no, then you say no.
Thank you, Steve.
I trust our public safety enforcement, in this case the sheriff. I think they know better than the supervisors about what would be the good thing to do for our residents. And so I would leave that decision to them. Obviously, the supervisor had to be the oversight committee over that, but I would tend to leave it to them, unless there is some other group that advocates otherwise.
Thank you, Bob. Next question is 1 minute, and we're going to start with Bob this time. Thousands of baby boomers are turning 65 each month in Orange County. What programs and investment strategy would you propose for the OC strategic plan for aging?
I'm sorry, I was, can you repeat that again?
Sure I can. Thousands of baby boomers are turning 65 each month in Orange County. What programs and investment strategy would you propose for the OC strategic plan for aging?
For what?
OC strategic plan for aging.
Oh, for aging, okay. I think we need to focus mostly on two things. First of all, health care for the aging, as well as affordable housing. We have an aging population that have a very fixed income. I know a lot of family that had to survive on a $900 a month from their retirement. And with that, I don't think anyone out there can deal with it. I think we need to talk to the federals and make sure that they understand the issue that we have, and ask them to divert the resources necessary to help combat the aging population in terms of health care and affordable housing.
Thank you, Bob. Andrew?
People are living longer. People are maintaining their health and intellectual rigor later in life. We have to get away from the traditional way of thinking that come a certain age, you should retire completely. So it should not be an all or nothing type of thinking. The way that we need to adjust in our new economy is to create a work condition that can accommodate people on a part-time basis in a way that can accommodate their schedule, and also take advantage of the wealth of experience that they have gained over their lifetime. We should not waste that talent, all of that resource, just because of some artificial construct that we call retirement. I think we can work with our employers in our county to change the way they work to accommodate this change in philosophy and the way of thinking. And that's how we can improve in our workforce ability to compete.
Thank you, Andrew. Steve?
I'll remind you that 3 of the top contenders for president are over 65, and they're doing okay. And I don't mean economically, I mean physically in every other way too. I basically believe that the more you stay out of people's lives, the more they can control it. And except for those who desperately need services, and you know, there's very few of those. I mean, the 400 homeless, which are outside. But in general, you need to stay out of their way. Bad health shouldn't be a reason for the public guardian or the public defender's office to get into your life. That shouldn't be an excuse to take your property. You're wrong if you think that government is going to help you or and some sort of panacea which is going to solve all your problems. You know, I wouldn't direct anybody into any social service program whatsoever because they're dangerous to your health.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you. Okay, the next question is from the audience, and we heard through the evening discussion about medical spending, mental health, and everything else. This question is, CalOptima is the county's organized health system. The Board of Directors of CalOptima is appointed by the Board of Supervisors. The agency has been plagued with billing errors and mismanagement. How should we assure that this $1.5 billion agency continues to serve the best interests of the 500,000 consumers it serves? I'll start with you, Andrew.
As a county supervisor, I also sit on the board of directors for CalOptima. CalOptima is the biggest health insurance company in Orange County. We cover 1/4 of the population in Orange County. It's actually 800,000, not 500,000. And I have worked with Supervisor Bartlett in order to open up the board of directors. We have increased public input on the board. We have narrowed the categories that in the past would be limited to insiders, doctors, hospital, clinics. They still have a presence, but we have increased the number of seats and the qualification for the public to be involved on the board of directors. And I have worked to increase the number of providers in order to give our members more control over the medical decisions they make in their life. Through the One Care Connect program, we now have many more doctors that our members can choose from so that they can maintain choice over their medical care.
Thank you, Andrew. Steve?
A couple of sessions ago at the Board of Supervisors, Todd Spitzer said that I would never, ever want Rocco on the Cal Optima board, which shows you how little he knows about me. I've been involved with the medical field for at least the last 15 years and know more about medicine than he will ever know. When I need questions in the medical field, I call doctors and I call the pathologists who I know and I've worked with. And I can do that anytime. And that's why we got to that position where I'm very, very skeptical about the medical system in general in Orange County. And I'll have you know that Janet Quinn, who is Mr. Doe's predecessor, got in trouble for that. But you know, it's hard to get good information. And you know, money laundering in the 2012 election that I ran against Janet Quinn, you know what, big money, big corporations, big medical firms, you lose.
Thank you, Steve. Bob?
The problem that I see here is the supervisor appoint, commissioner in the board for Cal Optima, and I see it as a conflict there. If you appoint the member of the board, and you also receive contribution from those people, then how could we have transparency? How could we assure the public that whatever decision that we made is on the interest of the patient, as opposed to on the interest of the medical provider? If I'm your supervisor, I would not do that. I think the board member that I appointed, I will not receive any contribution from them, and I mean it.
Thank you. The next question, we're going to start with you, Bob. Parks and recreation areas in the first district are limited. OC supervisors oversee a large budget for county parks and recreation. As supervisor, how can you, through the county, help to create more green space parks, recreation areas within our urban landscape?
Park would be a big issue not only for county, but also for cities. In Garden Grove, we have very limited space. So I do not see any hope where we can create more park. I believe that we need to utilize the existing park that we have, make it more efficient, effective for all people to use. And I've seen a lot of wasteful. For example, the TED festival at the My Square Park. I think it's another wasteful spending by our District 1. We already have, the Vietnamese people already have a TED festival. There's no need for another TED festival in the park. The park should be used for other recreational use. If I'm your supervisor, I will never want to do anything like that.
Thank you, Bob. Andrew?
We have to redefine the use of OC parks when we talk about open space. We have to get away from thinking open space equals parks. District 1 is the oldest of all the districts in Orange County. We are the most urbanized. We have the highest population density. There's not a whole lot of open space left. But what we do have is the ability to get into joint use agreements with school districts, because children already have access to their school grounds near where they live, because that's where they go to school. So we just need to open our mind, expand beyond thinking of just OC parks as only worrying about Orange County parks itself. We have to see our mission of providing open space to our young children so that they have a place to grow up, to play, to have a healthy lifestyle. And one of the things that I've been doing since I got into office is to work and communicate with school districts so that we can prepare the ground so that we can get into these joint use agreements.
Thank you, Andrew. Steve?
Well, I think the assumption there is that's what you want. Society has changed and parks aren't what they used to be. And the Board of Supervisors even implemented Jessica's Law, so some people couldn't go to these parks. I think that they're underutilized, sometimes they're overutilized, they're not properly maintained, they're not properly watched, they're not properly I did a cable TV show at Centennial Park. I did it for 7 years, so I had to go there all the time. So unless you have some control over it, it's not going to be a fun place to have, or to be in, for that matter, either. I think you need to utilize what's close to your home. It needs to be safe. And I will even reiterate what Mr. Doe said. You know, your schools, you know, your kids already go there. It's close by. I mean, they got swings, and why not? So I think the assumption is probably wrong. I don't think open space is not necessarily the correct question.
Thank you, Steve. With that, that concludes the formal questions that we have. Is there any other questions from the audience that we might have at this time?
Redistricting, that's coming up in 2021. There's been complaints that were filed against the past supervisors for gerrymandering. Do you believe that the current districts are gerrymandered?
All right, we'll start that question with Bob. Okay. Basic question is that in 2021, redistricting is coming up again.
And the Latino community filed a complaint with the Justice Department and the federal authorities, but it's still under investigation. There still may be a pending litigation. And some of these individuals participated in that. Do they feel that they're gerrymandered at all?
Has everybody heard the question? Basically, the question is that the redistricting in 2021 is coming up again, and the Latino organization had put a protest in.
Not a protest, filed a federal complaint.
A federal complaint against the district, against the supervisors, county supervisors, and do they feel that there was any gerrymandering done with the current redistricting or current districting that we have today?
That's correct.
Okay. Bob, can we start with you?
So, what is the question? What does he want to know about the lawsuit?
I guess at the end of the day, let's say current districting that we have, do you feel that there was any gerrymandering done with regards to how the districts are established at this point in time?
You see, I am not familiar with that issue where the district was wrong, so I would not be able to comment on it. But I do believe that districting, how we draw it needs to represent all people and not just draw it so that it will be favoring one group or the other groups. We are all residents, and so the government needs to serve everyone, not just a particular group.
Steve?
The reason I'm here and not at the Orange Unified School District is because the wonderful people at the Orange Unified School District paid $250,000 to gerrymander the district, so I couldn't run for my own position that November. So of course the district, of course we're gerrymandered. That's what politics is all about. However, there's other issues too, like at-large elections. You know, I came in second when I ran for Santa Ana City Council because in Santa Ana we have at-large elections. So I came in second in my own precinct, and the person who eventually won didn't even win in my precinct. So that's what politics is all about. It's about unfairness and inequality. You know, it's dirty politics, but yes, like I said, $250,000 to get rid of me, what does that tell you?
Thank you, Steve. Andrew?
As a lawyer, the word gerrymandering carries both a factual and a legal analysis. And the legal analysis is predicated on motives. And so without being a part of the process of the last redistricting, and without knowing the facts as far as the population and the breakup of the communities of the different ethnic groups, it is not possible for me to opine on that at this time.
But would you continue, would you agree to gerrymandering, or would you oppose gerrymandering if you were elected again?
I would oppose gerrymandering, yes.
Okay. With that, I'd like to conclude our questions at this moment. And I'd like to start with our closing statements, and we're going to start with Bob at this point in time and come across the stage.
Well, Thank you. I really appreciate this opportunity to explain to you my passion to serve you. And I thank you very much for you coming here from your busy schedule to come here tonight and listen to us. And I look forward for your support and your vote coming June. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew.
Likewise, I thank the organizers again for your great work in setting up this forum. And thank all of you, the public, for being here and also recording so that people at home can review this. I go back to what I said earlier about experience and track record. When you look at what I have done and in my experience serving District 1 in the supervisor's office, I think when you take it as a whole, you see that not only am I qualified, but I have the experience, and that I have accomplished a lot of meaningful achievements for the County of Orange, and that I have worked really well and have earned the trust of my fellow supervisors. And so I believe that in totality, that I am the best candidate for Supervisor District 1. Thank you.
Thank you, Andrew. Steve?
As of today, I've gotten 158,000 votes in all the elections that I've been in. You're not going to vote for me because I'm Vietnamese. You're not going to vote for me because I'm Mexican or Latino, because I'm not. You're not going to vote for me because I'm a Democrat or Republican, because I'm not. You're not going to vote for me because I'm an illegal alien or because I'm a natural-born citizen, because I'm not. I'm also not a lawyer. I'm one of you. You want change, you want things done, you want a cleaner county, then you vote for me and we get the job done. If you choose in the future to vote for somebody else, do it. But this time, vote for yourself.
Thank you, Steve. And at this time, I'd like to give a round of applause to all of our candidates for their Okay, with that, we're going to have about a 15-minute break while we change over to 46th Congressional District forum. We'll be setting up for that. We'll start about 7:15. Thank you.